difference between me and you.
Hey, what's up with White Cuz? Am I White Cuz?
Well, I'm not.
I'm White Cuz for sure.
Kenya, I want to go to you first. You have this great career of using humor to take on difficult conversations, and there are two scenes in this film that really struck me. One is Mo kind of confronting Ezra about how he thinks, he gets it, and he never quite will. And then, of course, this incredible scene with Amira and Shelley. And I wonder if you would talk a little bit about putting those two really important scenes into this film and using humor.
Two of my favorite scenes, honestly, in the movie. First of all, I think you're talking about the wedding scene with Julia. And
Yes.
It was, you could hear a pin drop on the set. We shot it twice because we were like, we don't need to shoot this, too many times, because they nailed it, and we wanted to I didn't want to do cross curves because it was so fluid between them. And I was like, I could tell she had prepped, because the tears were real from Julia, because she was like, she saw maybe herself, she saw the character, but it was, and I think there were some things that she changed, but it also was a real thing of oftentimes we are looked at in not a malicious way, but sort of as exotic animals, you know what I'm saying? And it's diminishing and it's marginalizing, and it's not meant to do that. But I think the idea of she had enough, and it felt like it was that was a scene, the scene that sort of coalesced everything in the movie. So I'm glad you saw it. And then I think the scene with Mo, we rewrote that and rewrote that and rewrote that. The idea of sort of, I'm big into allegories and things like that, and that, he's, as she said, to black people in America, and there was so much more of that, we had to boil it down, which is hard, but a woman the most dangerous thing in the world is a woman who's been cheated on, you know what I'm saying? Because everything, it's what were you doing this? But to black people in America, that's, we're the cheated, we've been cheated on. And I will never forget, there was a interview with Farrakhan, I know it's crazy, but he was an interview with Farrakhan on Donahue years ago. And he said in there, he said, and he says a lot of crazy stuff, but he was like, I think white people in America are afraid that if we had done what they did to us, how they would feel. And I think it was shocking, because I think he was like, but that's not in our spirit. And I think that is a big fear that underlies it's like we were enslaved and put into animal category for this time, and people think well, if we let them out and there's going to be so much residual anger, they're like, why wouldn't they just sort of blow up one day? And I think that for me spoke so loudly to the movie, because I think that is understandable. You know what I'm saying? When you've cheated on a woman, you feel like she's going to get you back, or you know what I'm saying, this type of thing. And I feel like there's an understandable, DNA that this country was started on that sort of causes a lot of disruption between us. But I think that love and time heals all wounds, and I think that that's what this movie is talking about, is that fear doesn't have to be a part of our everyday life.